Now you could ask, why do I even need the brain-to-brain communication or the BrainNet? Well, for example, one thing is that when patients are starting to use the exoskeleton, their brain seems to not represent the legs anymore because it hasn't been using them for so long that they are underrepresented. So one of the ideas would be to have the therapist controlling part of the exoskeleton and the patient another fraction. So week 1, 90% the therapist and 10% the patient. Week 2, 80% the therapist and 20% the patient, and so on until the patient is actually controlling the exoskeleton on its own. Same thing with the brain nets, where we could have, for example, and this has now been starting, some people are starting to test this, which is, for example, having doctors simultaneously diagnosing a disease. And as a group, they diagnose better than the best of the doctors. And this is a really interesting thing because it suggests that brain nets may be used in the future very commonly. And one simple example would be to have our family controlling, for example, for our brain activity and telling us, no, you cannot wash your hands for the 50th time this hour because you have a psychiatric disease or something like that. So that would be a very simple example, or detecting seizures appearing. So it wouldn't have to be always the computer. It could be somehow your family or close ones. So overall, BMIs use neural activity to control gadgets. And I've spoke mostly about invasive BMIs, but there are many other. They're associated with neural plasticity, and it's a very important concept in BMIs. The brain-to-brain is a new form of computation and an artificial channel for communication. This is an important thing because it will lead to important changes in the future, which we can discuss further. And even if some of these studies seem very strange or with no immediate application, very often decoding algorithms and improvements in neural recordings are done in these studies. So that's where we get the basic things for us to then move on to the clinical stuff. Just as a side note, I'm now trying to do some neural bypasses with the goal of, for example, having a stroke, recording neural activity in one place and then stimulating in the other, and therefore building artificial regions for the brain and trying to fix things that are wrong.